This is Histories and Mysteries. I'm Ashley.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Rochelle.
And on this week's episode, Ashley's going to be talking about the story about a missing Vermont couple. And Rochelle is going to be talking about the history of tarot cards.
Yay. I'm very excited because, Rochelle, before you started on this podcast, one of our kind of first episodes, we did the history of the Ouija board. And that was really interesting how it kind of came about. So I'm interested to hear the same thing about the tarot cards.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. When I was doing research, I realized that it's like a history not a lot of people know about, or a lot of people have like an idea that's not actually where it came from. It's pretty mysterious, I guess.
Mysterious. Awesome. I'm excited. So my story is very interesting, and I will talk about it a little bit down the road, but I got it from a documentary called Dark Minds by William Phelps. And William Phelps, I've seen in a lot of other documentaries. He's usually in there talking about any kind of like true crime stuff. I think he's a journalist. So he covers a lot of the cases and stuff, but he's got his own thing now called Dark Minds. And I have to say that it is very dramatic. It is very dramatic. So a lot of the like zoom in on the face, the dun, 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 stuff like that. So it was my mom's visiting me right now, so her and I watched this one while I took notes. So
is it like a reenactment kind of one where they hire actors?
Yeah, there was some reenactments, but not a lot. So it wasn't one of those cheesy ones. Okay. But it was just like the stuff he would say. And I think I have a note in a couple parts where he went real cheesy. So but all right, I will dive in. So June 9th, 2011 in Essex, Vermont, a local couple went missing. Lorraine and Bill Currier, 49 and 55 respectively, were dependable, good working. They were close with their family. It was very unlike them to just go missing. Like, it's not like some, the couple that would take off on a whim. Like, that wasn't them. Lorraine worked at the local hospital with her sister-in-law. And when she didn't show up to work that day, her sister-in-law began to worry because she was very dependable and she would show up. So she tried to get a hold of Lorraine, but she couldn't. So she tried to get a hold of Bill, but found out that he hadn't shown up to work either. And they both had been at their job for like 20 some years. So this was like really not like them.
Like really out of character.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So the sister-in-law decided that she was going to go to their house to take a look and see if she could see anything, like what if something had happened to them in the house or something like that. But when she got there, she was surprised to see that their car was gone, but they weren't at work. So where were they?
Weird.
Yeah. She called the police to come to find out. She was like, this isn't like them. They're missing. Their car's gone. And the police actually took them seriously. Like, they didn't say like, oh, you need to wait 24 hours or whatever. They came right out to look. And they found that all of the doors were locked, but the window leading from the garage to the house had been broken, but everything else looked fine. There was like nothing turned over, no foul play looking. Everything was normal. There were a couple of things that were very concerning. Medicines that they needed to like live were still at their house. Bill's wallet was there. His work clothes were laid out. Lorraine's glasses were there. And they had a gun that they kept in the house, but it was missing. So because of this, the police were concerned that something bad had happened. They searched 8 times around the area, like 8 separate occasions, and they found nothing. One man did call the police and say that he saw a man driving the courier's car, but it wasn't Bill. And he talked to a sketch artist. They got a picture, but nothing came of it. And they thought the case would go cold. That was all they had. So meanwhile, let's go to Anchorage, Alaska, where 18-year-old Samantha Koenig went missing from her job at a local coffee stand.
Are those far from each other?
Yeah. So Vermont is on the easternmost part of the country, and then Alaska is obviously up by you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
And her boyfriend was supposed to come pick her up from work. She worked at like a coffee, like it was literally just like a almost like a food truck type thing, but for coffee.
Okay. Yeah.
So like wasn't attached to like a building. It was like a stand type thing. So he was supposed to go pick her up from there, but she wasn't there. And like she was the only one working. So where was she? So he called the police, and the next day the police reviewed the coffee shop's security camera, and what they found was terrifying. At about 8 p.m., a man wearing a ski mask walked up to the coffee stand, and like that's pretty typical for Alaska. It's freezing, right? A lot of people are wearing ski masks.
Yeah.
So Samantha didn't seem scared. He gave Samantha a travel mug and asked for coffee. She turns to fill it, and when she turns back around, the man had a gun pointed at her. He told her to turn the lights out, tied her hands up, and walked out the door with her. 3 weeks later, her boyfriend gets a text from her cell phone that tells him to find a ransom note in a local park. So he goes to this local park, finds this note, has a picture of Sam holding a recent newspaper, demanding $30,000.
It's not a lot of money.
That's what I thought. I was like, that's
weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted it deposited in Sam's bank account because the kidnapper had her ATM card. So the community came together, Anchorage, Alaska, and raised the money for her family, raised this $30,000. Wow. They put it in her account. Within 2 days, 2 withdrawals came out of her account. They were monitoring all the ATMs, but they didn't really know what to look for, right? And then by the time they would get like a register that Sam's account was hit, by the time they got there, he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
A few days later, oddly enough, her card was used in Arizona.
That's also not very close, right?
No.
Okay. That's like a complete giant triangle.
Mm-hmm. So again, they were always 10 to 15 minutes behind. They couldn't catch this guy because he was using drive-through ATMs. So he was like going through the ATM, getting his money, and he was gone, you know? Mm-hmm. Then he withdrew in New Mexico and then Texas. And that is more, that's a lie,
close,
you know? Yeah. They also, this is skipping to the creeps. They did have footage of him on an ATM, but he was wearing a Scream mask, you know, like the Scream character. Yeah. But they did see that he had a white Ford Focus. So at least they had something. So they put out an all points bulletin. You know, they didn't say.
Okay.
Yeah. So they put out an all points bulletin to the police to try and catch him. This is crazy to me. This is absolutely crazy. They're in the state of Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Texas has 29 million people in it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
29 million people. All they had was that he was in a white Ford Focus and he was a tall, muscular white man. That's it.
Okay.
That's all they had. And a Texas state trooper saw a man that fit that description pulling out of a hotel. So he pulled him over. Like, what are the 29 million people? How many tall, white, muscular men are in Texas? Probably 28 million.
All the cowboys.
Exactly. But it was him.
What?
Yeah. So the Texas trooper pulled the man over and asked for his license. The license was from Alaska. And his name was Israel Keys. Dun, dun, dun! So I know talking to you prior to this, you two don't know about Israel Keys, correct?
No, not that I remember.
Okay. Well, somebody is listening out there and they're like, oh my gosh, it's Israel Keys. So that's the reaction I wanted. I do have to say, like I said to you guys too, I think Israel Keys is the most terrifying serial killer there's ever been. Not that he is the most gruesome or did the like craziest things, but you just wait, it's terrifying.
Like worse than Albert Fish.
Well, that's what I mean. Like he didn't do the grossest things or like the most like crazy things, but his preparation for the murders is terrifying.
Okay.
So inside his car, they did find Sam's ATM card. They found her cell and like rolls of cash that he was pulling out, but no Sam. He was arrested on charges of kidnapping and what they called access device fraud, which is basically using a stolen ATM card.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time that he was arrested, Israel Keys was 34, which is my age. He had a girlfriend and a 10-year-old daughter.
Oh.
He worked construction around town. He had formerly been in the military. He was awarded a few medals in the military and had an honorable discharge. His only violation was a traffic violation. So he was all around, like, from what they could see, a pretty decent guy. They talked to some people who knew him, and they just raved about him, how he was a trustworthy, decent, hardworking guy. But due to this, the FBI was able to raid his home and find searches on his computer of the Sam Koenig kidnapping. So like he was keeping tabs on the news and what they knew and stuff like that. And they showed Israel the security video of his car and the kidnapping of Sam. And they're like, we have this security. Look at what we have. Where is she? After he saw the video, he sat in silence for about 20 or 30 seconds and then said, well, I guess I might as well tell you everything. So he started talking to the police. He told them a lot. So he said that in the ransom photo, that one where she was holding up a recent newspaper, she was already dead.
What?
He took a picture of her dead body and he used a thread and needle to keep her eyes open for the picture.
What?
Yeah.
Ew.
So he held Sam captive at his house in his shed 20 feet from where his girlfriend and daughter were.
Oh my gosh.
He took a bottle of wine, brought it out to the shed where Sam was. He gave Sam some water, but drank the wine himself. Rude.
Mm-hmm.
He then told Sam what he was going to do to her. He's like, I'm going to do this and this and this to you, like to psychologically terrify her. He sexually assaulted her and then strangled her to death. All while his 10-year-old daughter was 20 feet away.
It's horrifying. And like, I looked up a picture of him and he does not look what I imagined.
No, he's not like, he kind of looks like a little twerp.
Yeah.
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 Crazy.
So he then dismembered her body and put it under the ice in a lake just a little bit north of Anchorage. So what he did is, you know, for ice fishing, how you build a shelter around you on the ice.
Yeah.
He did that, pretended to be ice fishing while he was weighing down her body pieces and dropping them into the lake.
Cool.
Yeah. So once he told them this, they were actually able to go to the exact spot where he was, and they were able to recover her body parts and give the family some kind of closure.
That's good, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they weren't left wondering forever.
Yeah. But Israel loved retelling the story. And the fact that his voice was so intense and so excited about what he did, the police believed that they were dealing with someone that had done this before. This wasn't a one-time thing.
Yeah.
He told police that he had been living a second life for the past 14 years. Everyone who knew him, like I said he was a great guy, but then he was killing people in his private time, just like a lot of the serial killers that we've heard of, you know, like John Wayne Gacy. People loved him.
Yeah.
Ted Bundy, people loved him. So he said, of course, you know, Israel wanted to make a deal. He said he would tell them everything if he was given an execution date, which is the opposite of what I thought he was going to say.
That's weird.
Yeah. He said he wanted this whole thing wrapped up and over with as soon as possible.
Oh.
And then he joked, all right, I'll give you 2 bodies and a name, and that's all I'll give you today if I get a cigar. And then he laughed, and it was disgusting.
No.
He then shows the FBI agents where he buried some bodies in Vermont. So it had been 10 years since the disappearance of the Curriers. The case was all but cold when the detective on the case received a phone call from the FBI.
What? He was 24.
He was 34.
No, but he would have been 24.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah. They tell him that Israel Keyes murdered the Curriers and where to look for the bodies. He said that they put them in. Israel said that he put their bodies in a farmhouse not far from their own home. But the police detective got there. The farmhouse was gone. It had been demolished a few months earlier.
Wow. Oh, no.
And this is what I don't understand. The construction workers, because they found them, and they said that it smelled so bad. They even said it smelled like a dead body, that they didn't even go in the house. They just demolished it.
What?
I know. So I feel like if you go out to a farmhouse and you smell something that bad, you should either look at it to make sure it's not just like a dead animal, and or like call the police, right?
Yeah, because it's also like a biohazard.
Yeah. So where the farmhouse was taken to the dump, they looked for the bodies, but they never found them in the dump. So because of this, they needed to see if was Israel really the murderer. Then they don't have any proof, right? So they asked him some facts that they never released, that like only the murderer would know, and he knew them all, so they knew he was the murderer.
Yeah.
He said that he had no remorse, and the detective said that as he was retelling the tale, he was cold and even chuckled sometimes.
Gross.
He said that he came at night, he cut their phone line and smashed that one window in the garage. He rushed down the hall to their bedroom with it, and he like wakes them up and has a gun in their face, and he ties them up. He told them that he's kidnapping them and he was going to move them to a different location. So then he brought them into their car, which is when that one guy saw some random guy driving their car. It's because it was him with them in the back. So he drove them to the farmhouse. He sexually assaults Lorraine. Bill can hear everything that's happening. Bill's able to partially escape, but Israel quickly beats him and shoots him, killing him. He then brings Lorraine to the basement where Bill's body was and strangled her. He soaked the bodies in drain cleaner and wrapped them in plastic bags hidden under a pile of junk. Israel had never met them before, never seen them before. He just picked them because they didn't have dogs, they didn't have kids, and they had a garage that he could easily get into. That's why I picked him.
Horrible.
So this is what's terrifying to me. He was extremely organized. He would plan his kills kind of like vacations. So he would pick a place, go there sometimes years before, bury a murder kit, go back home, come back later, pick a random person and murder them.
Jeez.
What?
Yeah, so he would use only cash. He would take the battery out of his phone before he got to the destination. He would pick small towns and then his victims based on like the ease of murdering them, and then he would leave town. For the Currier murders, he flew from Anchorage to Chicago. He then rented a car and drove the rest of the way to Vermont. He drove a good distance away, then dumped the murder weapon, and then drove back to Chicago and flew back to Alaska. While interviewed, Keyes dropped hints about at least 8 other murders, but wouldn't give details. He gave clues. He thought it was like a game, so he'd give clues. Though, and police would hope that combining that with information about his life might lead to more answers. They pulled his travel records and saw that he had roamed all over the United States. He would, again, fly in, drive for hundreds of miles, and then fly out. Like I said, he would decide where he wanted to murder years prior to the actual murder. He would go there, leave a murder kit, and then wait years, and then come back for his murder kit to commit murder. So what he would do is he would grease weapons so that he could bury them and they would still work. He would bury guns, ammunition, rope, cable ties, trash bag, and drain cleaner in these big 5-gallon buckets. And he had at least 5 hidden around the country in New York, Texas, Wyoming, Alaska, and Vermont.
Holy crap.
Yeah. For the Currier murders, he buried that kit 2 years prior to their murder. So he went to Vermont, buried that kit, came back 2 years later, and just picked them at random to murder.
That'd be a different story.
Right. So how does he pay for all this travel?
That's what I was going to ask. Like, what did he do for a job?
Jessica, he fucking robbed banks in his free time.
What?
Yeah. So he robbed banks in New York and Texas, and security camera footage confirmed it. So it's not like he was just lying and telling these tall tales. No, he fucking robbed banks, got this money, buried murder kits, and murdered random people.
Dang.
Isn't that terrifying?
That's wild.
Ugh.
It's like some Jesse James, Bonnie and Clyde shit.
I know. So they did interview one of this. Oh, here's where I wrote it. So in my thing, I wrote my notes say, so who was Israel Keyes? How did he live this double life? And I wrote this documentary. Oh my gosh, so dramatic. Said, we found someone who knew Israel as well as anyone could. He worked with him for 6 months. Okay, 6 months, and he knew him as well as anyone could.
What?
Calm down.
Stupid.
But anyway. So he said that when Israel first came across his path, he was like a professional guy. So he hired him. He did construction. He showed up on time. He said he was really intelligent. He did good work. He said that his physical and mental toughness was unwavering. So he would like focus down on a job and do it until it was complete. Sometimes wouldn't even take a lunch break. Like he would just work for hours. He said that he was super friendly and he would like 100% trust him with anything. He did say that he would sometimes take off for short, unexplained trips. And he made the point to say that like the money that he was paying him for his job was probably used to murder people. And that really creeps him out, which, yeah. So the FBI talked to Israel for several months. He said he would give up all of the details again if they would guarantee an execution within a year. If not, he'd do it himself. And then he giggled about it. And then on December 1st, 2012, Israel killed himself in his jail cell without telling anything else.
Oh.
Yeah. He used a razor. Which, how he got a hold of, I don't know. But so now the documentary kind of tries to find some of these other victims that he hinted at. He made references to 4 murders in Washington, 1 in New Jersey, and then like several others all over. He said a lot of his murders weren't even reported as murders. So I wrote in here, you be the judge. Were the following murders of the work of Israel Keyes? So the clues that they decided were that he liked working in the wilderness. He felt very comfortable in the wilderness. He liked to pick people who were kind of off on their own because he did grow up in Washington and built his own cabin in the woods. So he felt very comfortable in that area. He would sometimes go to an isolated place and just wait for someone to walk across his path and murder them. He didn't have a type. He picked whoever he came across. So if they could pick, like someone that didn't have a connection to him, that was close to where he traveled, had an unexplained disappearance, it might lead to some of his victims. One interesting thing was that Keyes didn't want the details of his crimes to go public. He was very adamant about this. He said he didn't want his daughter to find out the stuff he did. But he also didn't want details getting out for personal reasons. So one being that he not only raped women and that he murdered, but he also raped the men. And he was ashamed of that. And then the documentary also claimed, and they said that this is the first time this has ever come out about Israel Keyes. So I don't know, like, if it's accurate or not, but they said that he was a necrophiliac, and so he didn't want that out either.
Then don't fucking murder people,
right?
Yeah, then don't do it,
right? That's what I have in here. That when I said he was ashamed, I was like, not of the rape and murdering, just the fact that he had sex with men is what he was ashamed of.
You know what this dramatics is reminding me about is Zach Baggins.
Yes, he's very yes. Yeah. It very much reminds me of the Zach Baggins of true crime. So the documentary did say that they got this information from interviews with the FBI agent. He said the FBI agent said that the only time Israel looked uncomfortable was when he was talking about the sexual details of the case. He apparently admitted to having sex with the dead in one of these uncomfortable conversations. It was also found out that Israel had told the Vermont police that he had plans for Bill, but Bill had ruined it when he escaped, like that little bit before Israel beat him to death. So, but Israel did say that no one would be able to find his victims' bodies. The profile interviewer said that the Currier's body were found, not the Currier's, but since Sam's bodies were found in a lake, or no, it was the Currier's bodies. No, it was
Sam's body.
Sam's body was found in a lake. He believes that other bodies will be in a lake or underground, which, like, duh, where else would they be? They're either underground or in a lake, usually. But they looked into his childhood to try and learn a little bit more. So Keyes was one of 9 children to parents who were extremely religious. They even said it was almost cult-like, his growing up. But as an adult, he was an atheist, and he had a pentagram with an upside-down cross tattooed on his body. He hated religion and even had a plan to burn churches down around the country.
He had a pentagon, but he was atheist.
Yeah.
Pentagram.
Whatever.
He just had a random shape on his body.
It's the most superior shape, guys. Anyways, he had a pentagram.
Yeah, because I think he was trying to be like, stick it to the religion, you know, even though he didn't believe in it.
Hail Satan.
Yeah. He did mention, this is pretty fucked up. And I'm not going to go into details about this, and trigger warning, it has to do with animal abuse. When he was 14, he took a cat out into the woods who was always getting into the trash, and he killed it in a pretty awful way. Again, I'm not going to get into details.
And he went out- Luca Magnotta, jeez.
What'd you say?
You guys know that story, Luca Magnotta?
It sounds familiar, but
yes, no. Yes, the documentary about
don't fuck with cats.
Yeah.
Okay, I never saw that.
Oh, don't watch it.
I was told not to.
No, don't watch it.
They don't show you anything in the documentary, but like they do show you the cute little kittens before they get murdered.
And then you still hear it.
Yeah.
Should we have a moment of silence for these cats?
It's only fair after a moment of silence for the dogs.
Oh gosh. So he walked out into the woods with 2 other friends when he did this, and like as the cat was dying, he was laughing, and then he looked over and saw that his friend like was throwing up. So at this point he kind of realized like, oh hey, this isn't normal, and I need to hide this from people because I'm fucked up.
Why would you ever think that was normal?
Yeah, I don't know. So after this, here are the clues that they came up with for his other victims. So the body or what is left of one will be in the wilderness, not found. So their story will be like a missing person, not a murderer. There won't be a ton of media attention around it. And obviously Keyes would be in the area at the time from traveling. And William, our lovely dramatic host, believes that he found a case that fits this. Israel said that he took 2 single victims between 2005 and 2006. And they think one of these victims was in Washington, and his name was Gilbert Gilman, which fun name.
That's a fun name.
Yeah. So apparently Gilbert went out to the peninsula in Washington for an afternoon stroll in Olympic National Park. We know that he wasn't going hiking or backpacking because he was wearing flip-flops and shorts. So just wanted to take like a nice little afternoon walk.
Yeah.
He didn't have any psychological issues or financial issues or relationship problems to warrant him just kind of disappearing of his own volition. Keyes had actually run a marathon at the time that Gilbert went missing, about 30 miles away. According to Gilbert's family, his plan was just to go on a day hike near this area called the Staircase area, and they did find his car at this spot. A park ranger remembers seeing Gilbert that day because, and remembered it was June 24th, 2006, because he pulled up in this convertible with music blaring, wearing flip-flops, shorts, and Hawaiian shirt, which is not typical of the people that showed up at Olympic National Park.
No.
Also, Gilbert was a former paratrooper and was awarded 2 Bronze Stars. So, like, he would have known not to go hiking too far in this attire. So he kind of would know his way around. The police started to search for him 3 days after he was reported missing. They searched everywhere for 6 days with helicopters, planes with heat-seeking cameras, search and rescue dogs, but they never found anything.
Why did they take so long to start searching for him?
I'm not sure. It didn't say.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. The local police officer said that they generally get reports about 12 to 24 people going missing in that forest every year, but they usually find them either alive or dead. But Gilbert was never reported as a murder. He was reported as a missing person, just like our clue said that he would. There's also a lake just 2 hours north of where Gilbert went missing. The locals say that the lake's too deep and too cold for a body to be found in it. They say that people have drowned in that lake and they've never been able to recover the bodies. The deepest part is about 600 feet or 1 kilometer for our Canadian folks.
Ew. So there's just a lake full of dead bodies?
Yeah, they said they can't even dive that. So
do people swim in said lake?
I think so.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yuck.
I'm sure there's probably tons of bodies in every lake.
It's true. So gross to think about.
Ew.
Israel also mentioned Lake Crescent in his interviews, saying that it's 500 to 700 feet, how people have gone missing there and never to be found. And he said that's one of the lakes where he could put a body.
Cool.
There's another.
We're gonna go swimming again,
right? There's another deep lake right by where Gilbert went missing, like right in that area, called Lake Cushman, which is about 150 feet deep and diveable. And I was like, ooh, maybe they're gonna dive it and like, see if they find Gilbert's body. But nope, the documentary just ended there. I was like, okay, bye. The end.
Sorry, his name is Gilbert
Gilman.
There's a speculation his disappearance is related somehow to his work. He was the deputy director of Washington. He's 47. I don't know. They don't really say anything about it.
No, because I think this was just like the documentaries like, hey, guess what?
He was declared legally dead in 2015.
Yeah, I think after a certain amount of time you can have him declared legally dead.
Yeah.
But it says in here, Gilman's mother believes he may have decided to become a spy for the United States government and disappeared as a result. There's no evidence to support any theory, however, and his case remains unsolved.
Oh.
Weird.
So that is Israel Keys. And I think, like I said, I just find him so terrifying because he planned his murders out so far in advance, buried these murder kits, and then just picked random people that just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Also took a photo of a dead girl with her eyeballs sewn open.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. It's horrifying.
Terrifying. I hate it. So.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Story. I hope it gives you nightmares.
No, not like Zozo did.
Oh.
Zozo.
That's creepy though.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right, so tell us about the tarot cards.
Hey, do you guys know anything about tarot cards? Have you ever had your cards read or anything?
Yeah, my mother-in-law does it occasionally,
really?
And she's done it for me a couple times. Yeah.
What has it told you?
Oh gosh,
cool.
It was
How about you, Ashley?
Forever ago. I think it was something along the lines of my job was going to get more secure, and it kind of did. I was able to get a couple of temporary assignments, so it wasn't secure, but it was able to help me with my mat leave pay, so that was nice. But just stuff like that I haven't really had
interesting
done in a while, but I like it. I think it's really cool.
I've always wanted to have tarot cards read for me, but I just never have.
Yeah, I really want my past life regression to be done.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, me too.
That
would be cool. Okay, let's get into the history of the tarot.
Let's do it.
There are many myths surrounding the origins of tarot. The creation of tarot cards has been accredited to many different people throughout history. The Sufis, the Cathars, the Egyptians, Kabbalists, I'm sorry if I said any of those wrong, right? I don't think I said any of them right. And many more have, I think I said Egyptians, right?
I was going to say.
At least. And many more have at one time been thought of as the original creators. All historical evidence points to tarot originating in northern Italy around the early 1400s.
Cool.
Medieval.
Not expected to come from Italy.
Yeah. A few decades prior to tarot cards, regular playing cards made their way to Europe from Arabia. These cards evolved from the Islamic Mamluk card deck. Again, I'm sorry, I know that's probably not right. They had suits that were cups, coins, swords, and polo sticks.
Oh, interesting.
Tarot, like the playing cards, also had suits. They would often vary from religion to religion. Tarot decks would also include courts of kings and eventually queens, and others were added. So like all started with real cards, not like real cards, but playing cards.
Interesting.
The French introduced the modern suits of the hearts, clubs, spades, and diamonds sometime before 1480. I can't believe it's that long ago.
Yeah, that's so long ago that we've had cards.
Ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't until later in the 15th century someone made the first tarot deck. Around 1420, a deck was commissioned by Duke Filippo Maria.
You nailed it.
Sure. The cards were illustrated by painter Mike. Oh man, why did I do this to myself? Michelino de Bezzoso.
Oh, Zozo. That's the fourth time we said it now.
No, third time. So
I just
we're
said
all
it
doomed. Oh, Ashley, we're doomed.
I'm thinking about doing the story of the Curse of Macbeth.
Oh, cute. That'd be a good one.
You're like not supposed to say it
in
the theater. Oh, and he had 60 cards in the deck that he made. 16 cards had images of Roman gods and suits of 4 different birds, whereas 16 were triumphs or trump cards. They weren't quite meant for fortune telling yet.
Do you know why he commissioned to have those cards made? Like just because he wanted a pretty card deck, or?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
What is currently known as the Visconti Sforza Tarot is incomplete sets of 15 decks made from around 1460.
Wow.
These cards are on display in various museums and collections around the world. They were meant for a game similar to Bridge, but the cards didn't yet have numbers. The word Tarocchi first appeared around 1530. This is the game name that evolved from the game of triumphs when it was realized that ordinary cards could be used to play. The word Tarocchi is a bit of a mystery. With no origins in Egyptian, Hebrew, or Latin, it is also not an anagram. Well, Tarocchi was used in Italy, Taroc was used in Germany, and the French used tarot. It wasn't until much later in history that tarot cards were used in fortune telling. Tarot reading is a ritual. The first ambiguous evidence of tarot as divination first unambiguous evidence of tarot as divination appeared in Bologna sometime. Is that how you say it? Bologna? No, it's not Bologna. But like
I think Bologna.
The Italian city of Bologna.
Yeah, that sounds right?
Bologna. Sometime in the early 1700s. Regular playing cards have been linked to divination as early as 1487, so we can assume that tarot has also.
That's crazy.
That's so old.
Yeah.
I still can't get over how old that is.
Yeah.
Around the same time, there was a lot of diversity in philosophies that would influence the card designs. It's obvious that much of the imagery came from the Christian culture of medieval and Renaissance Europe. It wasn't until centuries after tarot's creation that occultists in France and England found the cards and saw esoteric meaning in the symbolism. So the cards themselves, the widespread use of tarot for divination didn't take off until the late 1700s when Jean-Baptiste Alliette published the first definitive guide to tarot card reading.
Oh.
Under the pseudonym Italia, he wrote the guide for his own tarot deck. He gave each card a meaning while incorporating beliefs about astronomy and the 4 elements. He also claimed to have used the Egyptian Book of Thoth as inspiration.
Cool.
Italia was also the first to assign a specific order and spread to the cards. His works were popular and he became the first professional tarot reader.
Oh, cool.
That's cool. So the decks, there are more than 1,000 types of tarot cards, but they all use the same reading layout. Each deck is made up of 22 major arcana cards and 56 minor arcana cards.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize there was that many.
Yeah, there's a lot. Each deck type will have slightly different interpretations, but they all help the user connect with their intuition and help them find the answers that they seek. So the major arcana are the main cards in the deck that share the breakthroughs, lessons, challenges, possibilities, and all events of the past, present, and future. So they're the Fool that represents new beginnings, a free spirit, or like a beginner. The Magician represents manifestation. The High Priestess is intuition. The Empress is like feminism and nurturing. The Emperor is order and stability. The Hierophant being higher wisdom, inner self, I think. The Lovers are love, mutual relationship choices, passion. The Chariot is control, strength, courage. The Hermit, solitude. Wheel of Fortune's good luck, justice, fairness. The Hangman is a new perspective. Death is change. Temperance is patience. The Devil is destruction. The Tower is demolition. The Star is hope, goals. The Moon is deceit and subconsciousness. The Sun is success and joy. Judgment is the inner voice. And the World, which is celebration and joy. So the minor arcana are supplementary cards that represent day-to-day life turmoils and events. So they are the suit cards, the swords, the cups and wands, and the pentacles, and they go from king, queen, knight, page, then ace, all the way up to 10.
That's and so cool.
They follow the archetypes of the major arcana. So for example, if you were to draw something like the 6 or let's go with the 2 of cups, it would follow the Magician's meaning of like manifestation and stuff like that.
Interesting.
And then each of the suits represent different elements and different things as well. So the 7 common tarot decks. The Rider-Waite deck is the most common and popular tarot deck used for readings in the US. The deck is formulated by Arthur Edward Waite, a distinguished member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, with help from artist Pamela Coleman Smith. Published by Rider and Company, the deck is an easy approach for beginners, and its symbols are easy to interpret. So this is the deck that you probably think of when you hear tarot cards. The Angel Oracle deck. These decks are engraved with angel imagery and are known for inspiring messages and can be very easy to learn. There are only 36 cards in this deck.
Oh, okay.
There's the Universal Marseille Tarot, based on a deck by Claude Bardel in 1751.
Wow.
This deck has a woodcut look. This deck takes inspiration from the old Marseille deck. The characters and symbols are colored in primary colors, while the background has pastel water textures.
Oh, pretty. I love pastel water textures.
There's so many like beautiful tarot decks. Like I've been looking through all of them when I was doing research. Some of the art's like insane.
Oh, I bet.
Druidcraft tarot deck. This deck for anyone looking to do readings with the natural world. The cards have a combination of Western, Wiccan, and Druidry imagery. The imagery is powerful and shares the old numbers theory. They're large cards and they're made by well-known Druids Philip and Stephanie Cargom and Will Worthington. Then we have the Renaissance Tarot deck created by Brian Williams, which has figures of gods and goddesses of Greek mythology.
Oh, pretty.
I know, I can imagine. The Wild Unknown Tarot, which is one of the most popular decks of all time, designed by Kim Crayons. They are black and white and illustrated with rainbow colors and animal imagery. They have the father, mother, daughter, and son instead of the court card. So instead of like the queen, king, knight. And then the Legacy of the Divine, a modern deck by Ciro Marchetti. They are vibrant and colorful and extremely easy to interpret. So a really good beginner deck.
Oh, that's nice.
So if you're looking to start tarot reading, probably have no idea what to do in terms of picking a deck. So what deck should you get? Choosing a tarot deck can be hard. There are hundreds of different decks out there. So where do you even begin?
Yeah.
Look for a personal and intuitive connection with the cards. The best way to find your perfect deck is to choose one you feel drawn to. Think about the energy you feel in regards to a deck. Explore the imagery of each card. Take a good look at the cards. What is your reaction towards the imagery? Do you prefer cards with more literal imagery or cards that leave more up for interpretation? Consider your experience level. If you're new to tarot, you might want to start with the Rider-Waite deck as it is the most popular. And think about if you want a traditional deck or a modern deck. Check out the Little White Book.
What's the Little White Book?
Most decks come with a book explaining the card meanings, but you can use the internet or tarot apps to help decipher the meaning. So the Little White Book is like the guidebook that comes with every tarot deck.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Kind of gives you a guideline of where to go.
Yeah. My mother-in-law uses that too.
Okay.
Cute.
Yeah.
Find a size that fits. Tarot cards come in all different sizes, from tiny portable decks to oversized giant ones. There's a lot to choose from. I've seen like teeny weeny little tiny ones.
Cute.
So cute. Consider how you want to use the cards. Think about the kind of readings you want to do. Are you looking for peace and calm? Maybe you have a passion for earth-based practices. There is a deck for everyone. Check for quality. And don't be afraid to buy your own cards. Some people have the false belief that tarot cards need to be gifted and not bought.
I've heard that.
Absolutely buy your own deck. Yeah. So there's like this myth that you can't use a deck that has been bought. You can only use a deck that has been gifted to you, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, because then how are you supposed to know like how you feel like when you're looking at the deck, like you said, the ones that kind of call to you, how are you supposed to like?
Exactly. And what if you're somebody that's interested in it, but like your family isn't gonna think about buying you cards or
right?
But yeah, I like what you're saying, Ashley, about how do you know if you're gonna connect with a deck or even like a deck that you're being gifted.
Exactly.
So is tarot real?
Yes.
Many people question the credibility of tarot card readings. When it comes to tarot, you can't say that they aren't accurate. The experiences one has at a reading are very real. So in that sense, yes, tarot is real. One of the main reasons that tarot is real is because it inspires thought. They make people reflect on their lives. This can this can also influence their future actions. So like I think even if you don't believe in them in like a future telling sense, like they're just kind of a tool to make you reflect on things that maybe you wouldn't be thinking about.
Yeah.
So tarot is for everyone. It brings people together. It's all about perspective. And then what I did today was a little Facebook snooping.
Ooh.
Get your birthdays.
Oh.
To find our birth cards.
Cool.
What are birth cards?
So birth cards are meant to describe a facet of yourself that is constant. They can be used to give insight on the energy present during your birth.
Okay.
You can discover your life's challenges, roles, and greatest potential.
Okay.
So it's like something about you in your life that doesn't change. Like your emotions can change, your like perceptions can change, but like this is never gonna change.
Okay.
Birth cards are most often calculated by adding your birthday until you get single numbers. There are a couple websites that will do the calculating for you, which I use because math is not for me.
Me neither.
Birth cards are usually in pairs or occasionally in 3.
Okay.
So Ashley, you're up first.
Okay.
Because you're old.
Your birthday
Shut up,
is
Jessica.
You are the oldest of the 3. Not by too much though. So Ashley, your birthday, November 15th, 1986.
Yes.
Meaning your cards are Temperance and the Hierophant. So Temperance is associated with patience, calm, and serenity, while the Hierophant is associated with knowledge, wisdom, and dogma.
That's because you're old.
Rude. Wait till I get to yours.
I have to say, I think that first part is really correct. I am very patient.
Yes.
And chill and laid back. I would like to say the second one's correct too, but I feel like that's tooting my own horn.
This is a path of guidance by wisdom and peace. Having these 2 cards come together is like having 2 great advisors, one bearing the keys to long-established knowledge and the other equipped with the gentle serenity to unify disparate groups.
I love that so much.
I do too. It's very new.
Oh, thanks, Jess.
So
You're
you
welcome.
guys should look up those cards so that you can see like the artwork.
Oh yeah, what? Tell
for
me them again.
So you're Temperance and the Hierophant.
How do you spell it?
Hierofhant.
I found it. Okay.
So wait, I'm gonna look
Ooh,
at them
very
too.
regal.
Oh, let me see one more thing. I gotta
And
Google
then
it.
Temperance is an angel. Ashley, you're an angel.
Wait, I want to go get my deck and I want to see what they look like with my deck.
You're a
Okay.
royal angel, Ashley.
Oh, it is very like regal.
It's a horrible laugh.
You had a laugh in one of the other episodes that I edited out because it was so creepy.
Why would you take it out?
It was like a I was like, oh god, Jessica. This
Oh, wait.
makes me want to get tarot cards and start tarot card reading.
I know, me
people.
too. Mine's probably like the devil. Very sassy.
You are exactly fucking right.
Oh no, Jess.
Okay, Jessica.
Oh no, Jessica.
Jessica, your birthday, September 20th, 1993.
Yep.
Your cards are the devil
And the hanging man?
and the lovers.
Oh. At least one of them's nice.
I
Yeah.
can't believe you guessed right. Oh my god. See, tarot is real. It's real. So the devil is associated with sensuality,
Ew.
materialism, and excess.
Oh no.
The lovers are associated with unity, harmony, and love.
Okay.
This path is one of restoring beauty to the beastly.
Aw.
Deep sensuality is indicated by this pair. The devil is a combination of the divine and beastly. He is playful in the realm of the material, but his pure enjoyment can lead some to be enslaved. The lovers bring an element of love to his passionate animalistic nature. His beauty in the horror is redeemed.
Interesting. I don't know what to take from that. I don't
That's
know.
something
'Cause
to
I'm not
think
like
about.
I'm not very materialistic, so
And then my cards are, because my birthday is November 22nd, 1994. And my cards are Judgment and the High Priestess.
Ooh.
Which is exciting because it sounds important.
It does.
Let's see if I can find them while I'm reading. So Judgment is associated with resurrection, objectivity, and awakening. And the High Priestess is associated with intuition, mysteries, and inner voice.
Cool.
This is a path. This path is one of breaking limitations by following intuition, which I feel like is a lot like me. It's about releasing oneself from established modes of thought and rebuilding them. You'll be guided by your intuition, and it's through learning to trust your inner voice that you will create your most important work.
Cool.
That's interesting. Anyways, that's it. Short and sweet.
I love that. That was awesome.
That was fun.
Should I pull a card for like this episode?
Yeah.
So think about like what you want for the podcast.
Okay, I'm thinking.
Tell me when to stop. Somebody.
Stop.
Who wants to go? Jesse said stop first, so this is yours. The Fool. New beginnings, new adventures.
Oh, cute.
Something new is coming. Something exciting.
You know what's funny? So the last 2 days on TikTok, 3 mediums have shown up on my For You page talking about new beginnings and how we'll come into some money. So that's really funny.
Oh, you're coming to some money.
So, and I'm like, I hope it's not, because my husband's gonna die and I'm gonna get his life insurance.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I hope that's not the case. But that's really funny that you were talking about like the new beginnings, and that's what the card is, because that's literally been showing up for the last 2 days for me.
That's crazy. All right, Ashley.
So weird.
You have the Knight of Coins.
Ooh, he's hot.
So I know he's something to do with like finances too. So hold on.
That's crazy.
Guys, we're gonna be millionaires off this.
What is gonna happen in my life? I hope nobody dies.
Hold on.
Kyle has to install our fan tomorrow.
Oh no.
He's like, I'm gonna turn the power off so that I don't electrocute myself. I'm like, it's probably a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh, efficiency, hard work, and routine.
Nice.
Okay.
He knows what he wants and is relentless in his pursuit of it. He's a hard worker. Although his path is long and hard, filled with tasks that might be repetitive and tiring, giving up is not an option.
That doesn't really
keep at it.
It's about our podcast, Ashley.
About the podcast.
Okay, hard work, relentlessness. We're gonna come into some money.
Okay,
more
hard for me. Ooh, King of Wands.
Ooh.
Oh, I pulled Major Arcana for all of us. Wow. The big picture, leader, overcoming challenges.
Ooh.
He leads and inspires others with incomparable passion.
Ooh. I love it.
Ooh. Those are all positives. That's good.
That's wonderful.
That's good.
So basically, listeners, you're like in on the ground floor because we're gonna blow up.
Yeah. We're gonna be so popular.
So popular.
Yay.
Well, if that didn't turn you off and you want more of us only ladies.
Humble brag.
You can find us at historiesandmysteries.ca and on all your major podcast listening platforms. You can also find us on TikTok at Histories and Mysteries Pod. We are posting fun things almost every day. So check us out there. And we are also on Facebook and Instagram, and we're slowly starting up a Twitter, but we're not doing very good at that. But we're getting there.
And if you want to rate and review us, that would be fantastic. I believe you can do that on Apple Podcasts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and tell us what kind of TikToks you want to see, if you want to see something new and different, or and tell us if you've ever had your tarot cards read.
Yeah, tell us some cool tarot card stories. That'd be fun.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, everyone, and we look forward to bringing you 2 new stories next week.
Bye.